Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So happy to be here. Happy to see 2023. This is just so exciting, so exciting. So if you're up there, go ahead and log in. I know it's New Year's Day. People are chilling. People had a wonderful night. So I'm just gonna be a little patient. Um, so let's see here. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So good to see you. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to see this new year. I'm excited to see the things that are in store for this new year. So if you're out there, go ahead and just log in. I know today is not a day where I know people are chilling, people are just having a wonderful time with their families and friends. So I want to go ahead and just encourage you to go ahead and log in, and I won't be here long, but I wanted to talk about some things that I think are really, really important, especially for women, so that you can be able to start the year right, so you can be able to accomplish the goals that you have set. Because I know most people have set goals for themselves, most people have set goals for their lives, most people are working on their vision boards and different things like that. So I just wanted to come here and talk a little bit about that, so that you can be able to have a successful year as you're going through the things that you have set out to do. So if you know anyone who is working towards their goals, anyone who's starting off with their business and things like that, go ahead and invite them in, because I want to make sure that everybody gets this information, and then we can go from there. And also, we are live on YouTube, so if you know anyone who needs YouTube instead of Facebook, you can also go ahead and add them to this session, so that we can be able to to be able to empower them, especially the women. So, as we start the new year, we know that we have so many things in store. We have many things that we are working towards. We have many, let me see here. We have many things we are working towards. And so I wanted to come here and make sure that, you know what, there's some things that are really important. I know we don't talk about this other side of making sure we accomplish our goals, but there are certain things that even if we ignore them, those things play a very big role in affecting you when it comes to accomplishing your goals. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about it's more of a question, so that you can be able to look at yourself and ask those questions before while you're pursuing your dreams. Hi Jerry, good to see you. Hi Janet, good to see you. So one of the things I wanted to ask the questions is, are you a wounded woman or are you an awakened woman? Because who you are determines what you attract. So you might have big goals for 2023, but if you don't address who you are first, it's going to affect your ability to get the results that you're looking for. And so I decided to come here early, which is today's the second, so that you don't waste a whole lot of like a month or two, just not being able to fulfill your goals or your dreams. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about is it's not even talking about it, but it's just bringing to an awareness, because we, like they always say, you attract who you are. So, whatever goals you have set for this year, whatever vision board that you have set for this, whatever things you have put on your vision board that you want to accomplish for this year, you actually have to become that person in order to be able to attract those things. That's why sometimes it's very hard. You can see someone is working so hard, and yet they're not seeing the results that they wanted to see, and then they get frustrated. But the reason is, a lot of times we set these goals, we set these big dreams or ideas, but we are not working towards becoming that person that needs to fulfill those dreams. And so when I put the topic there, are you a wounded woman or an awakened woman? It's because one of the things I can talk from experience, I don't even like, I can talk from experience because I've seen the transition in my own personal life where you can be a wounded woman, but then you can be able to transition to become an awakened woman. And when you're an awakened woman, you get to be in a place where you actually attract what you want, you attract who you are. And so the questions that I'm going to ask, they're just for self-reflection. You don't have to put it in the you can put it in the chat if you want to. But one of the things that is really, really important, that I want people to always look at these questions that I'm going to ask, and then if you fall in any category, just know that this is your time to seek the healing that you need so that you can become an awakened woman. An awakened woman is a woman who's empowered, a woman who's able to walk in their dreams, a woman who's able to manifest the things that they are confessing. Because we have a lot of people who talk about things. We have, like, the statistics shows that over 90% of people who set goals never really get to accomplish them. And that's not because and that's because they really what they want to have they want to have this goal, but there's no connection in understanding how to make those goals come to pass. And so one of the things that is really important when it comes to accomplishing your goals is just, you have to understand that you only attract who you are. The universe doesn't care what you need. The universe will only bring to you who you are. And so if you want to have XYZ, but you're only X, you will not attract XYZ, even if you cry, even if you spend so many hours doing whatever it is you need to do to accomplish that. So one of the things you have to understand is, if you attract who you are, then you have to spend like 80% of your time working on you so that you understand who you are, understand the areas that the areas that you are having trouble with, or the areas that you're wounded in, and know that if you don't handle that, if you don't seek healing in that area, that area is going to become like it's going to become like a stronghold. It's going to become, that's the area that's going to stop you from accomplishing your goals. So thank you, Evelyn, for logging in. Thank you, Sandra, for logging in. Guys, keep sharing this information. And we're also live on YouTube. You can go ahead to the YouTube channel, Breaking Limitations with Joyce Melendez, and you can go ahead and subscribe or share that with your friends and family, because I want to make sure that we get this information. So one of the first things I wanted to ask is, and like, what is a wounded woman, or what is a wounded person? A wounded person is someone who has gone through different things in life, but maybe they've not taken time to heal, or maybe they don't even know they need to take time to heal. And but they will be able to, they will manifest certain things. They will manifest with their actions. You'll be able to see their actions will they'll be able to manifest certain things with their actions. Or maybe they're working towards, they're striving to accomplish one thing, but they never really accomplish it. Or they're constantly in a roller coaster, or constantly in a hamster wheel, doing the same thing over and over, hoping to get different results. So one of the things that a wounded person, or maybe mainly I talk to women, a wounded woman is they're afraid to speak their truth. They're afraid to speak the truth they're afraid to speak the truth, period. And I can really, like, my heart goes out to women, especially because sometimes, especially based on how us guys we were raised, was where almost women, you don't really, you almost don't have a voice. And so a lot of women, a wounded woman will find that a wounded woman will not speak their truth. They will not speak the truth of where they are. They will not speak the truth of what they feel about a situation. They will not give their opinion about what a situation. They'll just go with the flow. If they're in a work environment, they'll be maybe during a board meeting, they'll be asked to give suggestions, and they'll just go with the flow of what everybody wants to see, or everybody wants performed. And so when you A wounded woman will always hide the truth. They'll always, and it's not, they're not hiding it because they're being malicious or anything. It's just that deep inside they don't even think that they have anything to say that is important, or deep inside they don't think that they have anything to offer to the world, and so they will not speak their truth because they don't think that their voice matters. And I can say that because for a long time I felt that way. I was in a church setting, I was in ministry, I was doing all these different things, but I never used to speak, because I just never thought that my voice was important. Or even when I tried to speak, I was, even when I would speak, sometimes whatever I said, they'll just be like, oh, they'll just brush it off. And so a wounded woman will always be afraid to speak their truth. So if you are writing down, that's one of the things that's really important. If you are a wounded woman, then you'll be able to realize that yes, you've been, maybe when you reflect, you'll notice that maybe you avoid speaking your truth. And it's not the truth about it, it's just your own truth. Because some things might be okay for others, but it might not be okay for you. But you have to be able to speak your truth. You have to be able to be comfortable to say, you know what, everybody might want to go this way, but I want to go this way. And you have to be comfortable in just speaking your truth and know that your voice is valid. So in 2023, if you are trying to accomplish any goal, if you are trying to accomplish whatever God has put in your heart to do, you have to be able to find your voice. You have to be able to speak your truth. The next thing is seeking external validation. So this is really, a lot of women suffer from this because I guess just based on how we've been raised, how we've been told, or especially you need to behave this way. This is how girls behave, or this is how people behave, or this is, this is what you need to do, and all that. So women, we've all our lives we've been told how we should behave. We've been taught how you should behave in front of how you should, we've been molded that this is what you should do, maybe for your man, or this is what you should do for your children, this is what you should do. And there's nothing wrong with that, but in the process of that, a lot of people are afraid of even stepping out into doing the things that that God has put in their heart to do, because they're seeking external validation. Basically, what that does, when you're constantly told what you should do, who you should become, how you should behave, it steals away from you even knowing who you are. Or if you have an idea of doing something different from the rest of the pack, then you become very afraid of even stepping out, because you know that you will not get the validation that you need. But if you build yourself to understand that you are valuable, what you have to say is important, your dreams, your goals, whatever you're trying to do is important, you will not need a lot of external validation. But unfortunately, in this day and time that we are in, we seek external validation. So if you're one person who constantly seeks external validation, and if someone does not validate what you do, then you stop doing it, then you are wounded, and that's something that needs to be addressed. So just know that in 2023, you cannot accomplish your goals by seeking external validation all the time. There are some things that you will want to do. There are some things that are in your heart to do. There are some assignments that maybe you feel God is calling you to do that might not match what everybody expects of you, but you need to be bold enough to do it, because you're not seeking your validation from outside. You're seeking, the validation is coming from you, within you. So external validation, constantly needing external validations, means that there's a part of you that is wounded that needs to be healed. And that's why you have to start working on that now, so that you don't waste the whole year seeking validation from people who don't even know your assignment. The only person who knows what you are called to do is God. The rest of the people are just telling you based on their own experiences, based on their own fears, based on their own perspectives. So you don't want to live your life that way. If God has put something inside of you to do, just go ahead and do it, even if no one else on earth is doing it. You do it if God has called you to do it, and see and make sure that you're getting your validation from within and not from the outside. Another thing, that leads us to also becoming people pleasers. If you're constantly seeking validation from the outside, that eventually leads you to becoming a people pleaser. People pleasers become a, being a people pleaser is such a sad place to be, because you are constantly just trying to do what other people expect you to do so that you can be accepted, or you're constantly trying to do what other people constantly trying to do what other people expect of you so that you can be accepted, maybe in a group, or so that you can be loved. And so when you are a people pleaser, you are actually violating your own truth in order to embrace somebody else's truth so that you can be accepted by them. And if you have to go against who you are, if you have to go against your dreams, your vision, your assignment, just to be accepted by someone else, that is already a problem, because you were created to do a specific assignment, whether someone likes you or does not like you. And you do not want to put your whole life on hold until someone likes you, or until someone is validates you. And the sad thing is, if you're constantly waiting for their validation, constantly waiting for them to approve of you, constantly waiting just to please them, then the day that they don't please, the day that they feel that you are not good enough and they stop, and they don't want you anymore, or the day that they feel like you're not a good employee anymore and they fire you, that's going to affect you tremendously, because you're getting all your validation from the outside and not from you, from the inside. So being a people pleaser is another sign that you need to become, that you're functioning from a place of being wounded. And this is something that you'll need to make sure you seek healing for, because if you do not do that, you will find yourself repeating this cycle in 2023. And if you repeat this cycle in 2023, that means that you will not be able to accomplish the purpose that you were created to do for 2023. You'll not be able to accomplish your goal for 2023, because you will be repeating 2022. And you don't want to waste time repeating 2022. You've already finished 2022. We are out of 2022. So go ahead and seek, and do what 2023 is, what you're supposed to do in 2023. So guys, this is so important. I know it might sound funny, but this is very important. You do not want to repeat 2022. You need to be moving forward. You need to be growing. And so 2023, if you have any of these characteristics that I'm talking about, make sure that you seek your healing. Make sure that you seek your complete healing so that you can be able to walk in wholeness. And then when you're in wholeness, you'll be able walking in wholeness is a whole nother level, because you will be able to attract exactly who you are. And so one of the other things that when you're wounded, a lot of times people struggle with boundaries. You struggle with boundaries whereby sometimes you let people violate your boundaries, you let people violate who you are, or maybe the things that are important to you. You let them violate that because you don't feel like you're not able to keep your own boundaries. So this is really a key, because when you cannot have clear boundaries for yourself, and that means that anything that comes your way can distort you and move you out of the purpose, can move you out of your purpose. You'll be working towards something, and then after some time you find yourself just moving away from the purpose, because you're here trying to please people. And so being a people pleaser, which is something we just talked about before, people pleasers have a hard time setting boundaries, because they have to adjust themselves to the people that they look up to. So if you want to be pleasing into this environment, then you adjust yourself. Even if adjusting yourself means that you violate your values, it means that you violate the core values of who you are, even if it means that you violate the things that are important to you just to be able to fit in. So being able to set boundaries, when you're not able to set clear boundaries and sticking with them, that is also a sign that there is a wound that needs to be healed. And so that's also something that you should be able to address, so you don't waste time in 2023 repeating the same things. And then another thing is, if you are constantly apologizing for who you are, this one, I can talk about this all day, because I can tell you, you were created by God. You're a unique being. No one on earth is like you. But unfortunately, we find that we are in a society where people want to look like so and so. You want to compare yourself with so and so, or you want to look at this other person and say, you know what, this person sets the standard. I want to behave like this person. And so, in the process of doing that, you find that you're constantly apologizing for who you are, because sometimes people can say that, okay, because you have this position, you should only behave like this and not like that, or because you have this position here, you should do this and do that and do that. And so we find people who, maybe they're in those certain positions, maybe you're in this job, but it requires you to do one thing, but you also, your personality is different. And so you find that you're trying to readjust yourself just to fit into the mold of what people are trying to make you to be. But 2020, if you constantly have to readjust yourself so that you can be accepted, constantly readjusting yourself so that you can fit into the mold that people are building of you, or people are expecting of you, this is a sign that you are wounded and something in you needs to be healed. Because when God created you, he knew exactly who you need to be. He gave you that personality he gave you is because he knew that that personality is what he needs for the assignment he's given you. He gave you that laugh that you have, and that's the same because he knows that's the kind of laugh he needs for the assignment he's called you to do. I have one of my friends who she's also a coach, and she is very colorful, and she loves color. She's very joyful, she's very loud and everything. But she said growing up, she used to be told that she's too loud. No one wants a loud woman so she used to try to tone down. She used to try not to have a lot of color, because she wears a lot of different colors and stuff like that. But all that was her personality. She was just created to bring joy. And because of that, she can bring joy into any room. She can bring joy into any situation, even with all the colors that she likes to wear and just her personality. But growing up, she used to be told she has to readjust herself. She has to stop being like that. You have to be quiet. You have to stop wearing those many colors or things like that. But God had a purpose for her life, and now she brings joy to people. She's a coach who actually focuses on teaching people joy. So it's important to be so confident in who you are and the way God has created you to be. Don't try to readjust yourself to people, to situations. Don't change who you are for people. You can develop yourself, you can grow yourself, but don't go against the core of who you are just to be able to fit in or just to be able to be accepted by people. And if you find yourself constantly doing that, know that you are somehow wounded, and that place needs to be healed so that you can be effective in what you've been called to do. Because we are not just talking about this to list a whole lot of things that people are going through. No, the truth is, as long as you're living in a wounded place, as long as you have all these different things going on within you that are constantly going on within you, you will not be able to maximize who you are called to be. You can live life and actually look successful, but that might not be the maximum. You're not living at your maximum capacity. And that's why I'm talking about this in January. I'm not waiting until July or August. I'm talking about this in January. So if you need to work on this, you can work on this in January, so that you don't have to, so that you can be able to address it and be able to move on and do the things that God has called you to do. Like most people have said that 2023 is a year of manifestation. So if it's a year of manifestation, you might as well be manifesting something. And so you do not have to live in in a place where you're not maximizing your potential. So that's one thing. And then another thing I wanted to talk about is negative self-talk. If you constantly find yourself having a negative self-talk, that is a big sign that there's something going on within you that needs to be healed. And some people think that it's okay to just say all these negative things about yourself, like, oh, I am so dumb, how could I do this, I'm so stupid, oh, I knew it, I shouldn't have done this, I'm so crazy, I can't, people say so many negative things to themselves. And when you say, and you can just imagine the things you're saying to yourself, and you don't, and you're like, okay, it doesn't matter because I'm just saying it to myself. But guess who's listening? You are listening. When you say all these negative things to yourself, you are listening, and you are becoming those things. And so sometimes just listen to the negative self-talk that you have, and imagine talking to your friend like that, telling them such negative things. Will that person continue being your friend? Will that person continue being around you? So those are important things to look at, because we focus so much on just on we've been taught, be kind to your sister, be kind to your brother, be kind to your neighbor. But rarely do we almost never hear anyone telling us, be kind to yourself, because we almost feel as though being kind to ourselves is being selfish. Like, hey, where am I that's like what do we call it, like idolizing yourself, something like that. But we are called to be we need to be kind to ourselves. When you're not kind to yourself, when you're constantly talking negative to yourself, you will constantly, you'll find yourself, you are listening, you are there sitting listening to you. And and what people don't understand is that when God created you, he gave you the power to create. That's why he says that, that's why when during creation, when Adam and Eve were created, he said, I've given you dominion. You can go name the animals, and whatever Adam named the animals, that's what they're called. This is a lion, yes, this is a lion, and this is what a lion will do. And he was able to create, he was able to give them a name, and that's the name that they manifested in. So you have creative power within you. And so when you are not aware of your creative power, then you will carelessly talk about yourself, create an environment that you don't like, that you actually created by yourself. You don't even need anybody to be there to create a negative environment for you. You don't even need to have anybody say something negative to you for you to have negativity within your life. If you have negative self-talk, that means that you're creating your negative environment. You're limiting yourself. You're putting a stop on your progress all by yourself. And that is like, if you don't get anything, I want you to get this part. How you talk to yourself matters. The things you say to yourself matters. You have the power to create anything you want in life. And so when you talk negative about yourself, you are creating all that negativity in your life. And so it's very important that you think of the things that you're talking about, and look at the things that you are saying to yourself. You're saying to, when in your quiet time, the things you say to yourself when you mess up, all those things play a role, because it shows how you view yourself, but you're also creating that life for yourself. So it's really important that you avoid this negative self-talk as much as you can. And so that is a sign of a wounding, and that wounding needs to be healed so that you can be able to see yourself from a different perspective, because you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Everything in you is perfect. It's just that some things need to be aligned here and there, but you are perfect. You are created perfectly. Yes, and I see here some notes, comments. Jerry says, good stuff, speak your truth. Dr. Eve said, perfectly said. Francis said, be kind to yourself. Yes, that's so true. We have to be kind to ourselves. And then another thing, The last thing I want to talk about wounding is also about comparing yourself. This one is they say comparison is the thief of what? I can't even remember that phrase, but comparison is like the worst thing you can ever do to yourself, because when you start to compare yourself with someone else, you devalue who you are. First of all, it's an insult to God, because you are telling God that you didn't do a good job creating me. You didn't do a good job, because if you knew what you were doing, you could have given me so and so's life, or you could have given me so and so's body, or you could have given me so and so's family or husband or wife, or whatever it is that you're using to compare. That means that if you are looking at someone else and comparing yourself with them, that means that you are actually, the first thing is just that you're devaluing what God has given you. The second thing is, like, it's a sign that you have not taken time to look deep within to see what you have to offer. A lot of people a lot of people when you see someone who is successful, when you see someone who has been able to find themselves, when you see someone who has been able to walk in their assignment, that means that they just took time to discover who they are, and then they decided to build themselves. They took time to discover their superpower, and they started to build themselves. But unfortunately, we are kind of conditioned to just look at people and think that, oh, this is just overnight success. This person just rose and just became this amazing person. And then when we do that, we look at ourselves and see like we are nothing. We have nothing to offer. Oh, I came from this poor background. Oh, I'm not as pretty as this person. Oh, I don't have this kind of person's hair, their wisdom. This person can remember everybody's name in the room, or they're so wise that they can calculate without a calculator. There's so many things we can compare ourselves with. And then, but all these things even start from childhood, just going where people are told, why can't you be like your sister? Your sister made her bed and your sister is able to clean up the house. Why can't you be like your sister? Your sister knows exactly what to do. Or maybe you're constantly compared with, maybe in your class, when you're growing up in class, the teacher would always say, why can't you guys work hard like so and so, and she is doing so good in class? Or why can't you be strong and run fast like this other boy, or things like that. So that is how comparison is started when we're very young. And the people who compare, or who start that vicious cycle in our lives, sometimes they never had any bad intentions. That's just how they knew how to parent. That's how they knew how to teach. So they didn't know anything. But as we grow as adults, we are not like, growing up, you are not responsible for the things that happened to you as a child. You're not responsible for the things that were deposited in you when you're even in your mother's womb, because a lot of things were deposited in us even when we're in our mother's womb. Because when I was studying, they said that from the third trimester, whatever moods your mom was having, whatever struggles your mom was going through, whatever insecurities or fears that they were going through, all those things are transmitted to the baby. So you come into this world, you're so innocent, you can't even protect yourself. There's nothing you can do, but you already have all these challenges attached to you. And so, but but the good thing is that no matter what was deposited in you as a child, when you're a grown up, you have the power to change. And that's why, even when I have this class, Discover Your Superpower, this is not a class to make you just think that, oh, we're just trying to make women become perfect, or we're trying to make women become this. No, no, no. There are all these things that were deposited in you that are stopping you from becoming who God called you to be. You are able to face them, and you're able to face them, you're able to address them, you're able to work on them, so that you can be able to become the person God intended for you to be. Because God said when He created us, He looked at us and we were perfect. There was nothing in us that was lacking, nothing was missing. But comparison will make you think that you're lacking in something. And so with comparison, we also find that when people start to compare each other, then the next thing we see all this jealousy and envy. So it doesn't just end there. It brings other little what I call little demons and spirits with it. So that's when you find people, you're constantly comparing yourself, or you're looking at someone who's in a position, and you're thinking that what can I do to sabotage them so that they can be removed from that position and I can get that position. And this happens everywhere, even in the church. We can see that someone can be looking at you and they see how God is using you, and then they decide that, you know what, I want that position and I'll do whatever it takes. And they go up behind your back, stab your back, and sabotage you so that they can have that position. But one thing I always try to I remind people, even when you look in the Bible, the story of Cain and Abel, we are able to see that Cain was so envious of Abel. He was upset with Abel because God favored Abel's offering. And then Cain went ahead and killed Abel. But you know what? We don't see anywhere in the Bible that tells us that because Cain killed Abel, that Cain was able to get Abel's position. So, sis, let me just tell you, there's nothing. If you're trying like this thing of comparing yourself, it's a wound that has to be healed. If you want to accomplish anything in 2023, if you want to walk in the fullness of who God called you to be, you have to get rid of that. You have to be able to find healing. And the only way you can find healing is by truly understanding who you are, discovering your own superpower so that you're not intimidated by somebody else's strengths. You're not intimidated by somebody else's superpower. And so when I take this class, when I teach this class, I am passionate because I want to see women walk in wholeness. The most empowered woman is a woman who not only knows herself, but wants to see other women rise with her. So you want to get to that place where you're not so worried about someone overtaking you. You're not worried about someone taking your spot. You're not worried about that, oh, if I see someone succeeding, then that means that I'm not succeeding. One thing I can let you know is there is enough for everybody. When God created us, when God created this universe, he knew we're gonna be 7-8 billion people on earth, and he has an assignment for each person. You don't have to destroy anybody in order for you to have a piece of the pie. The pie is big, the pie is super big. You don't have to destroy anybody. So you have to be able to see, and as long as you're functioning from a place of scarcity, where you think that things will run out, where you think that, oh, there's not enough success for everybody, you'll find yourself doing all these things that are so against all these things. They're not just bad. You might do bad things to people, yes, but what it does, it sabotages you from ever maximizing and becoming who God called you to be. So if you find yourself constantly comparing yourself with other people, you find yourself envying people because of their success or because of the things that they've accomplished, you find yourself constantly feeling intimidated because you're looking at people who have comparing yourself and seeing like, oh, these people are so successful, that it makes you feel inferior because you're not there. I want to encourage you to take this class, Discover Your Superpower, because you know what, you can decide that, oh, I'm not going to take the class, I'm not going to do it and all that, I'll just watch this and leave it alone, I'll live my life how I want. And that's fine, go ahead and live your life. But the tragedy would be that when we are celebrating 2024, you're still the same character, you still have the same character, you're still doing the same stuff, you're still comparing yourself, you're still worried about what people say, you're still worried about that about trying to please people so that you can be accepted, you're still seeking external validation. That would be a sad occasion for you to be able to spend this whole year doing the same thing. So I encourage you, take time. The link is in the bottom. Take time and just sign up if you need to sign up, but also just know that there's so much greatness inside of you. There is abundance. We are not living in a scarce, we are not, nothing is scarce. God is a big God. God is not just a big man. Sometimes we think that God is man, and then we imagine God like a big man. Maybe Maybe if we think like the tallest person is like 7 foot, now we think that maybe God is a man who's like 10 feet. No, that's not God. God is bigger. God is big. We cannot even fathom. Can I even say that word without sounding like I'm talking Swahili? But God is big, and he has an abundance, but God will take you from where you are. How you choose to view God is how you'll see the results. So one person can believe God for $5, another person can believe God for $5 million. I mean, we are talking to the same God, but it's just our faith. Where is your faith? What are you believing Him for? So I want to encourage you, if you're in that scarce mentality where you think that there's not enough for everybody, or where you think that, oh, you're not good enough, or you don't have what it takes, I want to encourage you to connect with people who have a different mindset, because as your mindset changes, as you start to heal those parts of you that are not as you start to heal those parts of you that are wounded, you will be able to manifest what you want. A lot of times we think that the people who are manifesting all these different amazing things, it's because there's something special about them. We are all special in the sight of God. When God created us, we are all special. But it's just that we have to be able to discover the thing that makes us special. And then we can be able to start working on that until we walk in the assignment that God has called us to be, until we maximize who God has called us to be. Sometimes I find everybody is not like everybody's not trying to be Bill Gates, everybody's not trying to be Jeff Bezos. We all have some things in us that we are trying to accomplish. There are some things in us that we want to see. Some people just want to live in a life where it's just, we just want to live in, maybe you want to live in an island, maybe you want to be able to just help um, what is it called? You want to be able to help the world have clean water, and you want to travel around the world helping people have clean water, or you want to be able to help children, or you want to just, even if you want to help women to have nice wigs, or you want to create makeup that is affordable. Whatever your dream is valid. Your dream is valid, so you don't have to compare your dream with somebody else's dream, and you also don't allow anybody to invalidate your dream, because sometimes sometimes you can tell someone what you're trying to do, and they laugh at you like, that can never happen. And so just because someone believes your dream doesn't make it invalid. Go ahead and pursue you. Go keep pursuing the dream that God has given you. And that's why it's so important to know yourself, so that even when you don't get that external validation from the people you think should be supporting you, you can still do what God has called you to do, and do it well, until they will look and say, whoa, we thought she couldn't do it, but she can do it. Or we thought he couldn't do it, but I guess that they had it within them and they can do it. So guys, I really want to see you walking in wholeness. And some of the things like, so we always talk about a heaven and a hell. So like the hell that when you're wounded, it's almost like going through hell, because you have so much things going on, there's so much turmoil, there's so much, you're so unsure of yourself, you're not confident in the assignment that God has called you to do, you're not confident in the things that you've been called to do, and that's not a pretty place to be, because that's how envy and all that is developed, and that life just sucks because it's too much, it's too draining. But when you discover who you are, when you discover your superpower, you'll be able to know your worth. You'll be able to know that if there's no respect in a certain place, you walk away. You don't have to keep changing yourself and adjusting yourself and trying to squeeze in so that someone can respect you. You just walk away, because you know that, you know what, we are not we are not lack. There's no lack. If you don't want me in this boardroom, that's fine, because I can go and I'll be in a different boardroom talking about different things with a different group of people that totally understands my vision or my assignment. And then you also know your worth. You will not just settle for anything just because this is what was available. And I see people struggling with that, especially like ladies. When you get to a certain age, you feel like, oh, you know what, let me settle because this I want to make sure that, oh, my family expects me to be married at this age, or my family expects me to do this by this age. Or no, don't settle. Don't settle. Know your worth and don't settle. And then let your validation come from within you. Let it come from inside and not outside. Because when your validation comes from inside, that means even if no one cheers you on, you cheer yourself. You wake up in the morning and you're like, whoa, I am going to make it today. I am doing good. I am looking good. You validate yourself. Because I see sometimes people getting upset. Oh, this person did not recognize me, and I've done so much of this, and this person did not do this. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, we all want to be validated once in a while, but don't let that be a secondary need. You fulfill your primary need by validating yourself from within, so that whether anyone validates you or they don't validate you, you are good. You are good to go. And then the other thing is also just setting healthy boundaries. Boundaries are really important because boundaries will help you to not will help you not to overextend yourself, especially in situations that are not breathing life to you. Because the most of the time when we find people who are really upset when someone does not, or let's say when someone leaves them, or when a company fires them, or they're laid off, and or you lose, all those things, it's sometimes it's just because we didn't set a healthy boundaries. And so when things don't work out, we really get upset. And so we want, like Esther is saying, we don't want to settle for less because there's so much in store for us. And then the most powerful place you can be is where you are walking in your assignment. When you're walking in your assignment, when you're walking in your healing, you will attract who you are. And when you start to attract who you are, there are things you will not even have to work for. Where people are trying to find connections. Oh, I'm trying to find this connection. I'm trying to find myself. I need to be in this group here. You will not even have to do that. You will attract who you are. You will find yourself attracting people who you'd never even have attracted before. And I'm not just talking about relationship. I'm talking about business opportunities. I'm talking about certain positions. I'm talking about certain things that you could have worked so hard for. But when you are healed and you're walking in your assignment, you start to attract the things that you need in order to do your assignment well. This is very, like, this is not, so a lot of people have trouble even believing this, because they feel like, especially when you're in this society that believes in hustle, 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 hustle. I'm going to hustle for this, and I need to find this connection. I need to go and meet this person. I need to network here. And that there's nothing wrong with that, because I am good in doing all those things. I will go and network and all that. But what I've came to find out is the things you need for your assignment, as you become the person that is for that assignment, as you become who God has called you to be, God starts putting people in your path who will help you to get to that level that you need to go to. He'll put the trainers that you need. He'll put the coaching programs. Like sometimes you might think that this coaching program is just or this is just something else. No, God put this in your path. He put you available today so that you can be able to see this and see that, you know what, maybe this is the next step. This is the next step that God is giving me, bringing to my path, so that I can get to do what He has called me to do. So being able to, and then the other powerful place to be is where you are not only growing, you are not only walking in your assignment, but you are helping other people walk into their assignment. You're helping other people walk into their greatness. You're helping other people heal so that they can walk in the greatness that God has called them to be. Because at the end of the day, when we are all healed, when we are healed and we are walking in our assignment, then you don't need to sabotage anybody. You don't need to look at somebody and feel like they're taking your spot. You don't need to be like Cain to feel like I have to kill Abel in order for God to for God to accept my offering. You will not feel the need to do any of that when you're walking in your divine power, when you discover your own superpower, because your desire will be to see other people rise with you. And you both, when you're all walking in your assignments, it's so powerful, because that's the place you need to be so that God can be able to even use you all in a very effective way. But the challenge comes when someone has found their purpose and they're walking in their purpose, and others are still struggling to figure out what their purpose is. So they want to sabotage the person who's discovered their purpose, or they want to sabotage the person who's walking in the assignment that God has given them to do. So in this, so we've talked about so many things, and I've been here longer than I thought I would be, but I just want to also go ahead and just acknowledge a few people who have joined in. Clement, thank you so much for joining. Nashmwas, thank you so much for joining. Alex, thank you for joining. Pastor Raphael, so much, thank you so much for joining. So we've talked about several things. The first thing, and so I just want to do a recap and then we'll be done. So you have to find out what areas of wounding you are experiencing, and those areas you have to address them. We are starting the new year. You have to address those woundings early, so that you don't waste the whole year living repeating 2022, or constantly trying to reach your goal and never really reaching your goal. So the first thing we talked about was, you have to be the first thing we talked about is, if you're afraid of speaking your truth, that means there's some kind of wounding there, because the most powerful place you can be is where you can be able to honor your truth. And so you have to be like, and you have to be realistic. You have to be, you have to look within and just ask yourself, okay, and this is not even about, like, it's not putting anybody on the spot or anything. You have to ask yourself those difficult questions, and then you start working on yourself, because the most powerful place you'll be is where you're walking in fullness of who you've been called to be. So if you're afraid of speaking your truth, then you need to figure out what's causing you to not honor your truth. And then if you are constantly seeking outside validation, know that the most powerful place to be is when the validation you're seeking comes from you and not from outside. Any validation you get from people is just secondary. The primary validation should come from within and not without, because people can change on you, people can leave you, people can say all kinds of stuff today and change it tomorrow. But you want to make sure that the validation comes from within. You want to have healthy boundaries, and we talked about boundaries a lot, because boundaries are the ones that protect you from a lot of nonsense, for lack of a better word, because a lot of nonsense can present itself, but boundaries will help you to protect yourself from nonsense. And then the other thing we talked about was, if you're constantly finding yourself apologizing for who you are, you're not comfortable in who you are, so you feel like you always have to make yourself small so that others could shine, or you need to always apologize for your, maybe how you look, how you talk, how you constantly apologizing. That's a problem right there, and you need to be able to we need to be able to to heal from that, so that you can be confident in who you are, regardless of how it looks to the world. You have to be confident in who you are. And then the other part we also talked about was, you have to be able to speak to speak positively to yourself. You have the creative power. You are created for when God created you, he gave you dominion on the earth, and he gave you the power to speak to the environment, to speak and decide the kind of environment you want to have. So you have creative power. So if you're constantly talking negative to yourself, guess what? You are creating that environment for yourself. And that's why I say negative self-talk is so toxic, because you don't need other people to destroy you. You destroy you all by yourself because of the things that you say to yourself. And a lot of times, negative talk, we find that we don't even like even your friends, if you ever talk to your friends the way you talk to yourself, you wouldn't even have any friend. But you find that you can be kind to other people, but you are not kind to yourself. So 2023, it's all about being soft when it comes to dealing with you. Be soft when it comes to dealing with you. And the way people say you want to have the soft life, your being is asking for a soft life right now. Be soft with yourself because you want to be kind to you. And as you're kind to you, you'll start to create that environment. And then the last part is comparing yourself with others. We don't do that. You don't want to do that because there's enough for everybody. You just need to work on you. And that's why we have this session called Discover Your Superpower. You need to discover your own superpower. You need to discover what your personal vision is. You need to discover what your mission is. You need to discover what your core values are so that even when things come your way, opportunities will always come your way, but you always have to ask yourself, do they align with the person that I want to become or with the person that I am? And so those things will help you to become more powerful when it comes to making decisions, because so many we have opportunities every single day, but every opportunity is not your opportunity. And the opportunity and whatever you spend your time on takes your energy and your attention. And so if you're spending your energy on the wrong thing or on the wrong assignment, then it's taking away your energy, such that when you're supposed to do the right thing or you're supposed to focus on the right assignment, you will be too tired to do the right thing. And that's why we find a lot of people, sometimes it's not that they do bad things, it's just that they put so much effort on the wrong things that they can't give energy to the right assignment. So this is not the time for you to be doing 20, 30 things. This is the time for you to be very specific, very clear. And then once you're clear, then you'll know how to set those boundaries and you'll know what to say no. And I always tell people, no is a full sentence. No is a full sentence. You don't have to say no and explain it. Sometimes people ask me, oh, can you come and for this event? I'll just say no. I don't have to say no, my children have a birthday party today. Oh, I'm no, because I'm so tired. I was in another event yesterday. No, I just say no. No, no is a full sentence. And that's something you have to learn for 2023, because whatever you put your energy on, that's what you will continue to. It's going to take your energy, and you only have a limited amount of energy every single day. So you have to be wise. And this is where wisdom comes in. You have to be wise to know, okay, I need to spend my time with my children. I need to spend time with my business. I need to spend time with this. Then you know that, okay, I can't do this, or I can't be running over here and trying to be on this committee and trying to be in this WhatsApp group that's doing and this function and this event. You just have to, you'll be able to know how to manage all that, and you'll be able to just know how to say no when you need to say no, and to say yes when you need to say yes. So guys, if anybody has any questions, I'm open for that. You can go ahead and put those questions in the comments. I hope I'll be able to see them, because sometimes it takes a little bit of time before any comments can come up. But Catherine, thank you so much. It's so good to see you. Judy, good to see you. Kenneth, good to see you. It's good to see each and every one of you, even on this New Year's Day, or New Year's a holiday, because New Year's Day was yesterday, but good to see each and every one of you. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them there. And then I'll also put a phone number here. I know I'd put the link for if you're interested in signing up for the session, go ahead and put it there, so that I go ahead and click on the link that's in the I think it's in the description, and then I'll also put the phone number there. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and text any questions that you have, and I will answer those questions. I will be able to answer those questions. But other than that, guys, this has been good. Thank you so much for logging in. I know a lot of people are hanging out with family, hanging out with themselves, or trying to figure things out for themselves. But I want to encourage you, even as you're creating your goals, be very specific. Even as you creating your vision board, just know that there's no limitation. There's no limitation, and that's why we talk about breaking limitations all the time. There's no limitation. And then also, as you're creating the vision boards, create the steps on how to accomplish that vision. because I see a lot of times we go, we create all these beautiful vision boards, but there's no strategy on how to accomplish the things that we've put on the vision board. So it's important to create strategies. We're going to have sessions this 2023. It's all about empowering. So empowering people so they can be able to manifest the things that God has put in their heart for them to do. We're going to have sessions where we'll teach you on how to do your personal brand. A lot of people have stepped away from corporate world. A lot of people and starting their own businesses. People are doing want to work in different areas. If it's in coaching, if it's in manifesting, whatever it is you want to manifest. But you have to be able to brand yourself properly. And the only way you can do that is by first discovering your superpower, because you understanding your superpower helps you to know what's unique about you. Because there are people, there are people doing what I'm doing, but they're not me. And because they're not me, they cannot come with my accent, they cannot come with my experience, they cannot come with my 2 employers that I have. They cannot come with all those different things that I had that come or cause me to be me. And so you also have there's things that make you unique. And so you have to first be able to discover your own superpower. And once you discover your superpower, then you will be able to brand yourself properly in a way that you'll be able to reach your exact target market. Because I think I told people earlier when I did another session, I think 2-3 days ago, that regardless, you might want to reach the whole world, but you are not called to reach the whole world. You're called to reach a certain target market. And so you need to be very clear so that you can know who your target market. You need to be clear on who you are first. Then you can know who your target market is. Then you will be able to know how to find your target market. So guys, we're going to have a lot of sessions. If you're not following me on YouTube, be sure to follow me on YouTube. I'll be throwing in this information. I'll be coming in live on Facebook and on YouTube, so we can be able to make sure that we're empowering ourselves, we're empowering each other. We'll have guests who come and empower us, give us information we need so that we can become effective in 2023, because this is the year of manifestation. This is the year where we are going to accomplish that which God put in our hearts to do. I try not even to say all these different words that people say for the New Year's and all that, but all I can say is that you have an assignment. You have dilly-dallied for a long time. It's time for you to get in alignment so that you can be able to do that which you've been called to do. Because the place where you will have maximum success and peace, because you can have success and not have peace. But the place where you will have success and peace is the place that God has called you to be. So my prayer is that you will not only find success in 2023, but you will find success and peace. And as long as you have success and peace, then you know what? You are living the life. Because we have a lot of people who are successful, but they don't have peace. They have to pay money to sleep. They have to pay money to be able to wake up. They have to so our goal is to be successful, but to also have peace. And so the only way we can have success and peace is by having the right kind of success. And that is the success that God has in store for you. And so you have to be a good steward of the gifts and the talents that God has given you, so that you can be able to grow those talents, grow those gifts, and walk in the assignment that God has given you. And in doing that, the result is you're going to find your area of success. And as you find that area of success, it will also come with peace, because you'll be able to do what God has called you to do, and you'll be able to do it well. So guys, thank you so much. This has been awesome. Thank you for logging in, and just and of course, any questions you have, you can send them my way, and I've put my information there. And then also, if you want the link for the classes there. So guys, I just want to encourage you, please share this video, whether it's on YouTube or you want to share it on Facebook. Please go ahead and share this video. And then as you share this video, share with anyone you love, who you want to see them succeed, who you want to see them walk in their manifestation for 2020, for 2020. 2023. I was about to say 2024. I'm even rushing. Anyway, guys, but this has been good. Thank you so much. And of course, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me and I'll be able to answer them according to. And if I don't have an answer, guess what? I'm gonna ask, because I always believe that if I don't have an answer, I should always ask someone who knows the answer, and I'll be able to help you. So guys, thank you so much. It's been wonderful, and have a good New Year's Day.